What's up, guys? My name's Doofus Mcdooface, and this is a Legion TD2 Champions tier list. I gathered all of the champion units that I think are championable. So if there's a Seraphim on here, Toho was making a joke about it, one of my Legion TD2 buddies. A Seraphim is not on here. Looters and Pack Rats are not on here. So if you don't see that unit, I personally don't think that unit is ever usable for champion. There's even some units on this tier list that I think are at the very, very bottom, like the real D tier that you shouldn't use them. But I still think there are some situations where it could work as champion. But without further ado, let's get into it. These are just my opinions, and they might suck. But a Banana Bunk is a tier 6. And let me just say right now, with the 5 or 6 tier 6s that we have on this tier list, if you can't place the tier 6 until like wave 9 or 10 or 11, that makes them a lot worse. Therefore, I really don't think that you could ever have an S tier tier 6 because you literally can't get the usage out of it until very late. But one of them I think is S tier, and I'm lying about that. Banana Bunk I think is pretty solid. You need Grarl, you need Skeletons to get it out quicker, or that shift, and then maybe you can get it out on 7. Enough being said, I'm gonna go with B right now. I'm gonna go with B. I think it's a pretty solid one. Mole and Hermit of course stops it, but I think your early game pretty solid. Berserker. Great. The attack speed, amazing. Giving it damage reduction, amazing. I do think with champion, you're going to get that extra worker. And for my opinion, I think the extra worker is what makes champion work, right? The difference between being 5 workers, having Berserker and Gargoyle, or Berserker and Aqua, and just having champion Berserker with one Gargoyle, one Aqua Spirit, and still not leaking to a 60 on 3, or very small. So I think Berserker is very excellent. Pretty close to S tier. Bounty Hunter. I think Bounty Hunter is not amazing. There's certainly some situations where maybe you have steeds and it makes sense. But I just feel like Bounty Hunter as itself, you're doing it for the Kingpin. So once your Kingpin comes out with champion, oh, it's worth. But unless you have steeds that are getting the mana up quicker, unless you have, once again, Grarl or Skeletons, I mean, these are extremely necessary for some champion units, then I don't think Bounty Hunter is that great, But the payoff is worth it at the end. It's just what you start with as being a champion Bounty Hunter, champion Angler, right? It sucks. But I still think it's usable in the right circumstances. Crab Warlock, bam, put it at S. I mean, it's just amazing. One of the best units of all time. I love my crabs. I have seen Crab Warlock champion do things in Nova Cup that nobody else has ever done. I saw it in Toho Cup with the classics. I love it. It just, being able to have that early game where crabs are already baloney, they're just so broken, and then you add in some attack speed, some damage reduction, every spawn gets it, Every spawn gets the damage reduction and the attack speed. That adds up. Every spawn, it's compounding. It's getting better and better. I don't really like it on the Maiden, Iron Maiden, Curse Casket, Cage of Pain. But I do think because of the damage reduction, it being an AoE unit, it's going to get out a little more damage quicker, can tank a little bit better. I think it's a C. I think probably half of these I don't think I would use, but I could still see their viability if you literally have no other options. And I feel like that's where my C tier is, It's like, I guess I've done it once or twice. I think I've done Casket once or twice with Champion. It's okay, but I don't want to do it, but I could see it. Daphne, I would say the same thing. I think I've done it once. The attack speed is amazing. Already has really fast attack speed, but you really never want a Daphne tanking. So this one is very controversial. You guys might actually disagree with me on this one. Once again, not gonna recommend it, but I think it still is usable, right? Can you champion a unit is the real question. And I think that you could champion. C for could champion a Daphne. Egg, S tier, 100%. Once again, caveat, you better not be saving it for like wave 10, 11, 12. You know, oh, I could an egg on wave 2 or 3, so I'm just going to hold on to champion for this late game egg. No. This is with the stipulation that you have the ability to build an egg on 2 or 3. And honestly, as nasty as it sounds, this might even with champion, this might be that situation where you build like an Oathbreaker and sell it on wave 2 for a champion egg. I mean, it already has what? Is it 17.5%? I think it's 17.5% damage reduction and a attack speed or whatever, or damage, whatever it is, for each stack. I don't know. Egg that lives is very strong. And then you throw that on top, it's like having 3 stacks on the egg. It's incredible. Very strong. Very strong. Elite Archer? Elite Archer, it's close to B. It might be C. And the thing is, Elite Archer, you don't have to add a split in the early game. And I actually like Elite Archer early. A lot of people say it's really bad, and it is in the late game. But if I'm using Elite Archer as an early game unit, I think it has that Zerker ability where genuinely you don't have to place the extra unit. You can push an extra worker, you know? On wave 1, I don't have to add a split. It's going to hold a snail. There's an extra worker. I should be able to get away with 250 or less value on wave 3. That's an extra worker. It's going to be able to tank the boss on wave 5 because of the damage reduction from champion. So I feel like Archer is doable. Doable. Sort of the same thing as Fire Elemental. I will say I have not used champion on Fire Elemental since they changed it to magic damage, as opposed to it had pierce and magic before. But I still think it's pretty solid. I still think you'd be pretty well off with it. I think B tier is totally fine. It's good unit. Maybe you just have to focus more on 7 and 8. But actually, in actuality, right? With champion, with champion and it being magic, you might have a free game 1 through 6. So it might actually be better now. Now that I'm thinking about it, might actually be better. You shouldn't leak 4 because it's stronger early, right? It's stronger early. So yes, 4, it's not as strong as it used to be, but I think with champion, it might be stronger than it was. 5, it's better, and 6, it's better. So it might be even insane 1 through 6. But B is still fair. Firelord, once again, I would put Firelord higher than Bunk, but stipulation, how early can you get the Firelord out? It's amazing. The damage reduction and attack speed, it's crazy, you know? I'm putting Gate Guard at D. And it's funny because for a long time, I was told that Gate Guard was one of the best champion units. Jules, I hope you're watching this video. This is me coming after the Gate Guard. It is championable, but barely. Because the damage reduction, it doesn't really apply to the unit, because the second that the Gate Guard or the Harbinger gets targeted, you're not getting any more dogs out. You're not getting any more dogs out. I don't love champion on Gate Guard. That's my D tier. I'm sticking with it. But I could still see you using it. It still made my list, but barely. I'm still mad at that. I just have to say, I got the exact same sense, the exact same build with champion, without. I leaked the exact same thing. I'm not kidding. Or very close, you know, like a wave 4 brute. You know, wave 4 brute with the exact same units, exact same setup. I leaked the same with champion, without. Come on, man. And I'm trying to think, of all the units I have here, I think that's probably one of the very few, maybe five. Maybe five of the units here would leak the exact same with champion or without. Don't love it. Champion gun. Champion gun. Probably A tier. Probably A tier, maybe S tier, but I think A tier is a good start. Attack speed on gun. Amazing, you know. Unfortunately, the damage reduction doesn't help it as much, just since it is... You really don't want it to tank, you know? It doesn't need to tank anymore. But yeah, the damage amplified, right? The longer the wave, that 10% is even stronger and stronger and stronger. So, really solid. I like gun. I like gun with champion. Seen some good work with it. Green Devil. I thought this was stupid. Okay, I thought Green Devil with champion was stupid until I saw somebody work with it. Until I actually saw. It's literally doubling on top of each other, right? Green Devil already has the built-in damage reduction. Then you put more damage reduction on it, and it's just silly. You know, it really will last forever in the early game. Which is crazy for a 160 gold unit that's almost unkillable, like the first 6-7 waves, is crazy. Champion can do that. It doesn't do much damage, but if the thing never dies, then the damage doesn't matter. It keeps killing stuff because it's unkillable. So it's pretty sweet. Holy Avenger, right in the A tier, sort of with that Fire Lord. Amazing. Actually, it probably should be higher than Fire Lord. Actually, here we go. Fire Lord right there. Gun right. Okay, yeah, I like gun. Gun best of the A's. Berserker, then Avenger, then Fire Lord. The Avenger, more attack speed. Gonna get to its explosion thing quicker, I believe. Although I'm not so sure about that. I'm gonna jump ahead. I'm gonna jump ahead to Nucleus here. And actually, I guess it helps. Okay, no. Okay. I'm thinking through this too much. Champion works really well on Avenger because of the damage reduction. I don't believe the attack speed improves. No, it does. They're different. Yeah, okay, they're different. Yeah, because when an Avenger's wailing on stuff, it's generating more mana. Whereas Nucleus, when he's wailing on something, it doesn't change its baseline mana. So that is why Avenger's much higher, even though they have sort of the same thing. When the Avenger goes off, it's Giga worth. When the Nucleus goes off, it's Giga worth. Avenger belongs in A. Nucleus, I did it once, and it didn't seem like the attack speed changed how quickly the Nucleus power goes off or whatever. And when you really think about it, Nucleus is not a great damage unit. It's not a great tanking unit. It's just a great unit when you have enough atoms, right? And when the spell goes off to boost those atoms. So I really didn't see Champion helping that much. But with that being said, I think I still won the game. You know, Champion Nucleus, OP, you know. But I still think it was, maybe we could put it at the top of the C tier, but I didn't love it. Flower. This is controversial because I think it belongs in B. I think it belongs in the B tier, which is kind of funny because I have a lot of AoEs in the B tier for these champion. The early game just so good. The early game, you're gonna hold much better on 2. You're gonna be almost unleakable on 3. You're gonna do better on 4, better on 5, better on 6. You know, the early game with Flower can really be useful. That's about it. That's about all there is to it. I don't think it's the best ever. I don't think it's the worst ever. Right there in the center. Flower's B tier with champion. Lord of Death, right there in the A tier. This is easy. Almost every tier 6 is going to be in the B, A, or S. Oh, sorry. I wasn't supposed to say S tier. But yeah, most of the tier 6s are A tier. Because they're tier 6s, right? Because they're tier 6s. It's just the problem of actually getting them out. The problem of getting them out is the issue. Once again, Millennium, I'd say the same thing. I thought Millennium with Champion was stupid, but holy crap, it's actually a lot more tanky than you think in the early game. And if you give it more damage reduction, more attack speed. I mean, that's why APS Doomsday is so good, because of the attack speed. Champion is built-in attack speed. So, Cat, is Cat A tier? Yeah, I think Cat is A tier. It heals itself. Okay, so if you have a unit that heals itself while having damage reduction, it scales pretty crazy. So Cat definitely should be A tier, I think. I think that is fair. Nightmare. Attack speed's amazing on Nightmare, but it does depend on your role, right? It does depend. Do you have Butcher? In addition, does having Champion on your Nightmare change the fact that if it just runs and goes in front of everything else, even though it's positioned back on the wall, does Champion really change the fact that it's still going to die first? And I don't think the answer is yes. So I'm going to go B tier. I'm going to go B tier. It's pretty good, but it's breakable, right? It's breakable. I think B tier is okay. Yeah, I think B tier is okay for Nightmare. Maybe it should be C. You guys let me know what you think. I feel like B tier is fair. It has like that amazing S tier potential, and it also has like D tier potential. So I feel like in the middle is okay. Final form Oathbreaker. This is a tough one, because this is one of the two, right? One of the two, I guess three. One of the three tier ones that I have here on Champion. It already has that built-in attack speed. Damage reduction after 50% HP. I'm starting to fall in love with Oathbreaker, dude. That Butcher Oathbreaker is just dumb. But I also don't think that I choose it that often enough to put it at A tier or higher. So I think it's on the edge of A tier, but I'm not going to put it in my A tier, if that makes sense. You know, like maybe it deserves to be an A tier, but I'm not going to put it there. It has great potential, can be used very well, but also the splitting matters too, right? Splitting positioning matters too. So there's that. Pipsqueak, just put it at the top. S tier, we know this unit is broken. This unit is broken without Champion, just like Crabs, right? Just like Crabs. There's no doubt about it. Honestly, Pipsqueak should just be the best Champion unit in the game. It's just no doubt about it. It's insane. And then when you make it a Lumerian, now it's got built-in attack speed, where attack speed is crazy. It already has built-in attack speed. It has built-in damage reduction. Now you're doubling those with Champion. That makes me want to play Champion. That makes me want to play Legion right now and hit Champion over and over again till I get Pipsqueak or Lumerian, because it's so silly. Priestess of the Abyss. I'm going to just go B. I'm going to go B tier on Priestess. Once again, probably should be A or higher, but I got to take a stand. I don't play POTA as much anymore, even though the developers tell me that her win rate is much higher than it used to be back before they made the changes. But for me, all right. You sold me, Jules. You sold me. I'll put her in A tier. The last couple of games of POTA I've played have been really good. If we added Champion onto her, I could see her being even better. So I'm gonna go with A tier, Priestess of the Abyss. Yeah, let's do it. Damage reduction means she'll be able to get off more heals, right? She'll live a little longer, so you get more heal generation, which is kind of like Cat, right? It's kind of like Cat at the end of the day. So I guess that's fair. I wanted to add Skybot here, or Pulsebot, whatever, just because some people were probably going to say, hey, I used it. I've never used it. I've seen a couple of people use it very well. Shout out to my buddy Hopsky. He used to use it and was very adept at it. I was like, how are you playing so well with Pulsebot open? So I think it can work, but it won't be me. It won't be me, but I will give a little love to it by at least including it on my tier list here. Pyro. Let's go high C tier. You know what? No, let's go B tier. Let's go B tier with Pyro. Let's be fair to all the AoEs. Not that AoE. You know, not that one. Champion's not saving you on wave 6. Yeah, Pyro. I mean, I guess you might be able to get 7 workers with Pyro Champion, right? That might just save your wave 4. So maybe it should be even higher. But I think B tier is fine for Pyro. Halo. Halo is tough. I'm gonna go C. And the reason is because, yes, Halo is probably really strong with Champion. I'll give you that. The attack speed, the damage reduction, cool. Are you opening Halo? Please don't. Please don't open up Halo. I don't love opening up Halo. Like, it's a barely 5 worker start. It takes forever to get there. You have a good chance of leaking on 4, even with Champion. You're going to be bad on 7. I mean, it just feels a little too weak for me, but I still can see it. I mean, it's a tier 5, and most tier 5s are going to do okay with Champion. So I'll give you C tier on Halo. Sakura. Maybe it should be A. Right now, let's say it's S minus. Sakura and S tier. I mean, how can you kill a Sakura with Champion? Right. And a Sakura that lives forever is great. So, I mean, what else do I need to say? Sakura with Champion, you know? You might not even have to overbuild as much, right? Maybe you actually hold wave 7 big on value, not having to be 150 over. Possible. Once again, I'm going to add Sea Serpents. There's a couple that I threw in here. Just for people like you that might have wanted Sea Serpents or Deep Quillers. Sea Serpents and Deep Quillers, I've been using them a lot more. The attack speed on them would go insane. Damage reduction is sort of like the Gate Guard, though. Once they get targeted, I don't think it's going to save them. But I will say, you know, let's put it at the higher echelon of D. The attack speed would make it acceptable. Barely, but acceptable to use Champion on it. Acceptable. Bing! Second best Champion unit in the game right now. I just lost the game because of Champion, Shadow Dancer, Dread Knight, baloney. Holy smokes. And it makes sense if you think about it, right? It makes sense if you think about it, since Crab Warlock and Shadow Dancer sort of have that same sort of degree of the spawns are endlessly getting damage reduction and attack speed, right? They're endlessly getting it. And with the Shadow Dancer, it won't get targeted if it keeps spawning clones. If it keeps spawning clones, then you throw Dark Mage in there. Then you throw in Tree of Life, a Butcher, an Ocean Templar, a White Mage. This thing has the greatest potential of all the units in the entire game with Champion. I still think Pipsqueak is better, but I think that has the highest potential. And that is even with me saying all tier 6s have like that caveat where you have to struggle to get it out because it's a tier 6 and it costs so much. Shadow Dancer, it doesn't matter. It is worth potentially saving it for 7, 8, 9. I mean, that thing is baloney, dude. That thing is baloney. It's unfair. But holy moly, if you get it, you should use it. Sky Queen. Let's go like middle B or top side B. Attack speed, faster she gets to full mana. She's going at her maximum. I think it's pretty solid. Still one of those like 5 worker starts, sort of similar to the Halo. So I'm not thrilled about that. But I do think about this. It could be one of those where like certain Legion spells, Glacial Touch, Pulverizer, right? Something like that could make Sky Queen with Champion insane. Absolutely insane. So I'm going to keep her in B. I think B tier for Sky Queen. And Toho himself said that he didn't even think about Sky Queen with Champion and how cool it'd be. Yeah, I think so. Slime Mama, once again, another one of those I just threw in for you guys. If I really had the worst Champion role ever, I could see it. it would allow me to get to 6, potentially 7 workers, depending on my unit on wave 4. Just sucks that it's kind of worthless, right? It'll be worthless after that. Like having a slime siren with champion is only going to work for the early game, and then after the early game, it's like, okay, what did I use this for? You know. Um, but I guess with the attack speed and the damage reduction, almost always guaranteed to get the triple slime out. So there's that benefit. Once again, not recommending, but I could accept it if a teammate used it. Soulgate. I kind of was fighting myself on gates because I think their end game. I'm gonna go right next to the Nightmare because it's exactly what I described with the Nightmare. Is it has S tier potential, it has D tier potential. Like it all comes down to how many spawns you get out. I believe with Champion you get an extra spawn out, so that's number 1. You get out an extra spawn. Number 2, do you have any buffs for it? Is it Tree of Life? Is it Ocean Templar? Is it White Maned? You know. I mean, I guess I just said that about Shadow Dancer, but I think Shadow Dancer can handle itself, whereas Gate can't. You know, Gate is sort of dependent on other units around it. If we're just talking purely about Champion, right? And also, like, I don't even think I would want to, if I had Grarl or skeletons, pirate skeletons, I don't even think I'd want to throw down the gate on wave 3. Gate wave 3 with Champion, I think you could still leak. Wave 4, I think you could still leak. You know, so it's like, I don't know about that, you know? But I do think the late game potential would be insane. But I feel like gates belong in B. I'm not gonna overreact and put it any lower. Scallywag, I'm gonna go with B. I think I would have gone with A before the changes, but the amount of times that I'm seeing Scallywags leak now has me tentative. Has me a little nervous about putting Scallywag any higher. They definitely made it weaker in the early game, and that is exactly where Scallywag was carrying, right? That is where Scallywag was doing the carrying. But I could think of a Tree of Life champion Scallywag. You're never leaking on 7 or 8. It doesn't matter if you get hit with an ogre. You're holding. But yeah, I like Scallywag in the B. Fairly decent champion unit. Boom Tree is another one of those I just kind of threw in for you guys. I'm going to say no. Like really, really low C tier. But it would get off its spell a little quicker. So it's okay. Sort of the same thing as Violet. I don't love these. But I guess the one thing I would say about these two, one thing I would say is you can just go 3 workers on wave 1, right? Trent, wave 1, 3 worker, Boom Tree on 2. And then you're just pushing until, honestly, about wave 6, right? So there is that. In addition, the Violet, same thing. You're pretty much pushing until wave 6. All right, you sold me. You sold me. I mean, let's just have every AoE unit, minus the casket. Minus the casket. Every AoE unit is literally B tier, right? I think that's kind of funny. Warpwing. This is a tough one, man. This is like, am I just gonna put everything in B tier? I feel like I'm cheesing. I'm cheesing the game now. I'm gonna put it in B tier. I mean, it's gonna be great for early game. It's not gonna be great for late game. I feel like it's a B tier. Pretty similar to Scallywag. It's actually funny we have it next to Scallywag. I feel like those two are pretty fair. You could always also have like the Fire Elemental. All right, I'm gonna put Green Devil up there. Now I'm really thinking through this. Green Devil should be higher. If I'm talking about these 3 units just helping the early game, right? This goes sort of beyond the early. Like I think it gets you an even bigger lead early game with the Green Devil. Willowshroom. Is it D? Yeah, it's D. It's either D or C. C minus. Another one of those I would never use. but I could understand you using it. Yozora should be right next to Berserker. Same thing. These are just so amazing. These are without a doubt the best. The best, I think, for everybody to understand how to play. Right. These are probably the easiest to play, Berserker and Yozora with Champion. You have Sea Dragon, you have Desert Pilgrim, things like that are going to make championing these just so easy. And so I feel like they're pretty interchangeable. I mean, they're both swift tanks. This one does a little more damage. The attack speed's going to be a little bit better. But it has the dodge effect with the Yozora. So, and then Zeus, let's go right next to Daphne. Pretty similar. Zeus, Daphne, same thing. Might give you an extra worker early, but I don't love it. But it does have that attack speed, right? It does have that attack speed. And I will say, Sky Queen sort of has the same attack speed as these two, but I just feel like Sky Queen has better potential with it, right? Like Sky Queen's scaling attack speed, whereas these are just flat attack speed. So I just want to sort of defend my position before you say, well, Doofus, why are they in C tier and Sky Queen's in B tier? But I think we did it. I think I did it. I think this is a solid tier list for all my champions. You guys have been asking for a long time. I'm sorry it took so long. Please leave a like. Please comment. Did any unit that you love was missing off of this? Once again, these are I would never play them myself, but I can understand you doing it. These are my sort of worst case scenarios. Like maybe I have Tempest here. Maybe there's Pulverizer or something with that. Maybe I have Steeds. Casket. I did it one time. I don't know why I did it again. So I felt like I had to put C. I still love Atoms and stuff. It's just I would really like to have Steeds with this, but it's still usable. If you want to force it out on 2, those are crazy. A lot of workers. Bit of workers. I like splitting with this, so it works. It probably should be A. Honestly, this probably should be A. How can I have Firelord there if Bunk is not there? Because I think Bunk is probably a better championable unit than Firelord for the early game. Think about Butcher. If that thing just goes Leroy Jenkins, you're screwed. Not as great in the early game, but amazing late. Attack speed. Extra workers. Can do crazy baloney things. Depends on the game. Crazy workers. Tier 6. Poda, supposedly she's better now. Yeah, she probably is. Has the heal. Yeah, and she has the heal. Tier 6. We talked about how amazing those are with Sea Dragon and other healables. Gun is amazing. Sakura broken if she lives. Egg broken if it lives. The spawners of death. And the most broken unit in the game right now. I think we did pretty good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tier list. And please let me know that you liked it or that you hated it. I want to know your comments saying, I thought your tier list sucks, Doofus. Because that still helps me. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.